If you are over 50, the changes behind memory loss may already be building inside your brain right now, quietly, invisibly, and you would not feel a single thing. Here is the part almost no one is told. Those changes can build silently for 15, even 20 years before the first forgetful moment. The damage starts decades before the first missed name. And here is what should stop you cold. A huge share of that risk is not your genes. Up to about 40% of dementia risk across the population is tied to ordinary daily habits, things you do without thinking. And the single biggest one on my list is something almost nobody connects to their brain at all. It has nothing to do with puzzles or crosswords, and I will show you exactly what it is. Let me tell you why this matters more than any other number on your chart. This disease does not just take your memory. First, it takes the names. Then it takes your independence, driving, your own finances, cooking a meal safely. And in the end, for many families, it takes the ability to recognize the faces of the people you love most. I have sat with the sons and daughters in that room. It is the fear I hear most from people over 50, and it is a fair fear. Now, I will be straight with you. Genes are real. Some of this is not in your hands, but a large part of it is, and that is the part I want to spend the next few minutes on. So I am going to walk you through the 5 daily habits quietly accelerating memory loss, in order, because the one most people ignore completely is the one that matters most, and it is waiting at the end. I am Dr. Brightwell, and this is Honest Medicine, after 50. Let's get into it. Habit number 1. Shortchanging your deep sleep. And I do not mean just feeling tired. Here is something remarkable that happens while you sleep. During your deepest sleep, your brain switches on a kind of overnight rinse cycle, a waste clearance system that flushes out the metabolic garbage your brain produces all day. And one of the things it clears out is a sticky protein called amyloid, the very protein that clumps together in Alzheimer's. So think about what happens when, night after night, year after year, you cut that deep sleep short. 5, 6 broken hours. The rinse cycle barely runs, the garbage does not get cleared, it lingers, and it builds. You will not feel it happening. That is the theme of this entire video. This is not about one bad night, everyone has those. It is the chronic pattern, the years of stealing from your own deep sleep, that quietly lets the waste pile up. Habit 2. A sedentary life. Sitting most of the day, most days. Here is what that costs your brain specifically. When you move, a brisk daily walk, taking the stairs, working in the garden, your body releases a compound I think of as fertilizer for the brain. It literally helps protect, and in some studies actually grow, the hippocampus. That is your memory center, the exact part of the brain that shrinks first in memory loss. Sit all day, every day, and you starve that memory center of the one thing that helps keep it strong. I am not asking you to run marathons. I would never tell you to do something dramatic. A daily walk is genuinely enough to matter. And I will be straight with you. This is exactly the kind of honest, no supplement medicine I make this channel for. If that is what you come here for, take 1 second to subscribe, because the next habit is the one I most want every single person over 50 to understand. Habit 3. This is the one that surprises people the most, and it is the one I most want you to remember. Letting your blood sugar run high, year after year. Now here is the part almost nobody connects. Some researchers have started calling Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. Not officially, but because the link between high blood sugar and the aging brain is that strong. Here is why. Chronically high blood sugar, and the insulin resistance that comes with it, quietly inflames your brain and starves it of clean fuel. Do that for years, and you speed up the decline. And this is the stunner. Your blood sugar in your 50s and 60s can predict your dementia risk down the road better than a memory test can today. Sit with that. The number that forecasts your brain's future is not a word recall quiz. It is a metabolic number most people never think about as a brain number at all. So I will be straight with you, the way I would with my own patient. High blood sugar is linked to this risk. It does not doom any one person, and I am never telling you to panic or to stop a medication your doctor prescribed. I am telling you that the number on your metabolic panel is a brain number. A patient of mine, I will call her Eleanor, 63, came to me terrified because her mother had Alzheimer's. She wanted the memory test. Her memory was fine, but her blood sugar had been quietly creeping up for years, and no one had ever told her that had anything to do with her brain. And that brings us to the thing I need you to understand before habits 4 and 5. because it changes what you should actually be watching. Most people wait for a memory test. They pass it, they feel safe, they go home. But here is the trap. A memory test measures damage that has already happened. It is a rear-view mirror. By the time it catches something, years of quiet change are already behind you. The numbers that actually predict your risk, years ahead, while you can still do something, are not on a memory quiz at all. They are your midlife numbers, your blood sugar, your blood pressure, and for your hearing, a simple test called an audiogram. Those are the early warning numbers. So do not wait to fail a memory test. Watch the body's numbers that come first, because your brain is protected through your body long before any quiz would ever ring the alarm. Habit 4. Social isolation and an unchallenged brain. Pulling back from people and letting the days blur into the same easy routine with nothing new to figure out. Here is what that quietly does. Loneliness and isolation are linked, on their own, to faster memory decline. And a brain that is never challenged stops building what we call cognitive reserve. Think of it as savings in the bank for your brain, a buffer that helps you weather decline when it comes. Every real conversation, every new skill, every problem you have to actually think through, that is a deposit into that account. And I will be honest with you, this is not about buying an expensive brain training app. A weekly card game with real people, learning something genuinely new, picking up an instrument, taking a class, staying connected to the people around you. That counts for far more than a slick app you tap alone on the couch. The reason this one is so dangerous is that it happens without a single warning sign. The danger is the slow drift into isolation and sameness that so many people fall into after retirement. The world quietly gets smaller, the days get more alike, and nobody ever names it out loud as a risk to the brain. But it is one, and it is completely in your hands. And habit 5, the one nobody clicks for, and the one that may matter most of all. Ignoring untreated hearing loss and letting your blood pressure run high in midlife. I know. Compared to Alzheimer's, get your hearing checked sounds almost boringly small. But here is the hard fact. When the researchers rank every risk factor you can actually change, untreated hearing loss and midlife high blood pressure sit right near the very top of the list. And almost nobody connects a hearing aid to their brain. Think about it. When you cannot hear well, your brain strains, you withdraw from conversations, you isolate. Treating hearing loss is linked to a lower risk of decline. Now, I have to be honest and careful here. A hearing aid does not prevent dementia, and I would never promise you that. But getting your hearing checked and treating your blood pressure in midlife are two of the biggest levers you actually hold in your own hands. This is the one that made Eleanor stop, because she had been ignoring a hearing aid her own audiologist recommended 2 years earlier. So what can you actually watch for, beyond simply forgetting a name now and then, which every one of us does? Let me be clear. Misplacing your keys is not dementia, but a few signals are worth a calm doctor's visit, not a panic. Getting genuinely lost in a familiar place, struggling to follow a conversation, or repeating the same question within minutes and not realizing it, trouble handling money, or steps in a task that used to be completely automatic, following a recipe, paying the bills, reaching for words far more than you used to. And a real quiet pull away from the people and things you once enjoyed. None of these, on their own, prove anything. Many have simpler causes entirely, including some that are very treatable. But all of them are easy to explain away, and that is exactly why, for so many families, they get missed until it is late. Let me leave you with your same-day checklist. 5 calm things, starting today. 1. Protect your deep sleep. Treat it like the brain-cleaning appointment it actually is. 2. Move every single day. Even if it is just a walk, your memory center depends on it. 3. Know your blood sugar and your blood pressure, and treat them as the brain numbers they are. 4. Stay connected and keep learning something genuinely new. Feed your cognitive reserve. 5. If your hearing has slipped, get it checked and treated. Do not wait, and do not dismiss it as too small to matter. You do not need a supplement, a brain game, or a miracle. And I will be honest, genes are real, and none of this is a guarantee. But a large part of your brain's future is written in your daily habits, quietly, long before any memory test would sound the alarm. Change a few of these, and you have done more to protect your mind than most people ever will. If this was useful, tell me in the comments which of the 5 surprised you most. I read them. I am Dr. Brightwell. Honest medicine, after 50. Take care of yourself.